the last I saw, it's like a perfectly mirrored split that 55% of women are going to be voting for Harris and 55% of men are going to be voting for Trump. It's like perfectly diametrically split. But there's some guys who are just not happy that women are not voting the way that they like.
Or fucking voting.
Or fucking voting, period. Yeah, that's true. So the Harris campaign is latching onto this, and it's taking, this is a commercial that the Harris campaign released, and it's about women. There's like a silent Harris voter block that they're kind of reaching out to. So let's see. Did I share it already? Okay, here we go. Let's see what they have to say.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose, you can vote any way you want. And no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls. Vote Common Good.
I love this. I love this commercial.
All right.
I want to talk about Girl's husband. Wow, what a Republican that was. I mean, they captured something there.
Straight out of Central Casting, that guy.
Oh shit! It's sad times when it's that. My first thought was like, damn, damn, we gotta do this. But I mean, I don't know.
Listen,
you talk about it.
No, look. So I'm so glad you said that, because you said both my thoughts. We talked about this on my other show, The Left Wing. Check it out, The Left Wing Pod on YouTube. And we were discussing the commercial, and when it got to me, I think I was first in the comments. I was like, I get it, because I know that there are women who, for whatever reason, whatever situation they're in, they don't feel comfortable expressing their political views to their shithead husbands. But I had the same thought. It's kind of sad that that's the reality we're living in, that, women feel like their safety is at risk if they just say, no, I'm not voting for Donald Trump, and that their husband bullies them. And I didn't like the cutesy, oh, look at this, we can, but then again, that's reality. I can't pretend that's not real.
If I saw a woman in a dress like that wink at me at the balls, I'm like, girl.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's just that, but I do understand. I completely understand that. As a dude, I'm in a very privileged position here that I would never in a billion years be afraid to tell the woman I'm with that I'm voting differently. They're like, all right, fine, this is how I'm voting. But I realize women don't have that luxury. And I also see that if you're married and you got kids and a house, you can't just leave, a lot of times. And this is assuming your safety isn't at risk. And and a lot of times it is at risk. But ladies, if you're dating a Trump voter, get the fuck out of there. If this is a fucking boyfriend, drop that guy. What is going on here? I don't know.
You can date a step further and walk out of the voting.
I mean, I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone who's voting to put my life at risk, right? There was that story in Texas of that poor woman who went to get an abortion. She had a fetus that was going to die, and everybody knew it. But the doctor said, well, we can't perform the abortion because of the state law until you're not sick enough. And they waited 14 hours for the fetal heartbeat to disappear. And she went into sepsis and died, when they could have just done the abortion hour for the fetus that was going to die anyway. But because of these new abortion laws, women are literally dying. Fuck that guy. No, not literally, don't fuck him, but to leave him as soon as you possibly can, because he's a danger to you.
Did you did you see him in Milwaukee? It was yesterday or the day before, I think. He's being so weird. Trump.
Who, Trump? Was it with the microphone stand?
Yeah, he was saying he was going to beat the shit out of everyone backstage, and then he gave the microphone to BJ.
Yes.
I was like, what? How?
The dude is.
And I have friends with girls that I love. Yeah, no, I like that campaign. My friends are so hardcore for him, and I'm like,
what is going on?
Weird.
What the hell is going on? Right?
Yeah.
I can kind of, if I squint and like think really hard, I can kind of understand someone who,
really hard.
but this is like 2016. Like in 2016, I'm like, all right, fine. You wanted to do something shitty and crazy, but man, 9 years later, and everything you've seen from Donald Trump, especially I say like, if you had a 6-year-old that acted exactly like Donald Trump, you would be admonishing and correcting and punishing this. Yes, and it's like, okay, this. Yeah, and then you see it in a 78-year-old man. Like, yep, that's my guy. He needs to be in charge
of the face of my country.
Right? Yeah, it's fucking embarrassing. I honestly, I don't think.
I've seen a lot of this is not an original idea for me, but like TikToks and Reels and stuff like that this week about that, like excusing the racism. I'm sorry, but like in order to be like pro-Trump, you have to say inside your heart somewhere that whatever your reasonings are, like are more important than racism, like that, because that's like a core thing you have to accept about him. Yep. And I don't know. Yeah.
And I got news. The Russians are never that good. If you hear them talk, it's just a lot of bigotry, a lot of hate, a lot of fear, a lot of anti-feminist, anti-black, anti-Puerto Rican. Jesus thing that went on with the Puerto Rico thing at that rally where they called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage and shit. I don't know. It's an awful campaign all around. But sticking with the anti-women parts, between
the two of them, they have like, what is it, 12 children, 6 different women.
So that's Elon. You're thinking of Elon Musk. No. So Donald Trump and Elon Musk have like 12 children with 6 different women or something like that. JD Vance has 2 kids. But he's just creepy and strange. Yeah, that Donald Trump has Donald Trump has 5 kids by 3 different women, and the Christians love him though. This is how I know the Christians are full of shit, because the Christians love Trump and hate Mike Pence. Mike Pence, for all his flaws, is actually a Bible believing Christian. He actually does, abstain from inappropriate sexual contact. Like people made fun of him because he won't meet another woman alone without his wife and everything. And yeah, fine, that's kind of weird, but he's sticking to his biblical principles. Donald Trump has no biblical principles, and the Christians love him. They love him, which tells you all you need to know about these folks. Speaking of Christians who love Donald Trump, let's go over to one of our favorite characters on the show. He's like a recurring guest. We might as well make him the 5th kid from It as often as he's been on this show. But this is our boy.
What democracy, what it lends its strength to.
Joel Webbin barging in before I wanted to. Look at that. It's just like he's up to do.
Joel.
Yeah, so Joel. All right, so this is him talking about the weakness of democracy. Because you got to remember, these folks do not like democracy. They say it all the time. I don't know if you heard this growing up, is that they talk about how democracy is, what do they say? 3 wolves and 2 sheep deciding what's for dinner, which is a stupid comparison, I think, because that's saying if it was, 3 sheep and, in reality, if it's 3 sheep and 2 wolves, well, should the 2 wolves get to say? Then they get to eat anyway. The analogy doesn't work at all. But yeah, right? It's stupid. It's so fucking dumb, man. Yeah, I don't know. And they're like, well, if you let people vote, you can vote to take away my rights. So I was like, okay, so what? Like, and the point they try to make is that just because 51% of the population says something doesn't mean it's right. And that's true. 51% could be wrong, but so could the 49%, right? There's no guarantee, no matter what you do, you're going to come to the right answer. So you come to the most fair answer with the most people. But all right, Joe Webbin, though, his big bugaboo was women voting. He doesn't like it, folks. And let's hear what he has to say.
Is instead of having elected officials that have power, is a raw universal, because that's what we have, is a universal democracy. Everyone is allowed to vote,
right?
Everyone. And just for the record, I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed. I think that because, well, first and foremost, because I'm a Christian, and that is the Christian position. Oh my gosh, that you're saying that? Yes, that is the Christian position, is that households should not be divided against one another. So it's not just elevating a male vote, but it's elevating the household vote. We're saying that that society, if you break it down to the basic building block, is not atomistic as individuals, but molecular, being households. The way that God sees humanity is He breaks them down to families, and so that it's not just random individual atoms all bouncing around together, and 350 million atoms bouncing together in one nation on one piece of land, but it's families. And so by repealing the 19th Amendment, just for the record, it's not just trying to take away a female vote, but it's trying to say, no, there's a family vote. Right. There's a household. And it's like, well, where do women get their voice? Well, where women get their voice is from their father, from their husband. If they're not married, it's from their father. If they're not married and their father is dead, it's from their brother, it's from their uncle, it's the men in their lives that love them.